Hello again, Jonathan Scott with Strengthen Your Walk. Let me give you a kind of a brand new term I just learned, ichthyophobia. Ichthyophobia is the fear of fish. Some people have such a fear of fish, they don't like to see it either live or dead. They don't want to come anywhere near it. As a matter of fact, some people coming in contact or inside of fish can actually have anxieties or even panic attacks because of this fear of fish. You know, I think some people have the same fear, similar fear to evangelism, actually speaking and sharing their faith. Maybe the fear is because of a fear of failure or a fear of rejection, or a fear that they don't know enough, that they'll mess it up, and if they mess it up, they'll mess up someone's eternity. A lot of it has to do with us kind of relying on our own confidence, not realizing that flowing out of our relationship with Christ, that there are already significant powers that we can rely on that gives us competence and confidence. As a matter of fact, these two twin powers have been responsible for not only birthing the church, but of expanding the church in a way that would turn the world upside down throughout the Roman Empire and across continents and civilizations for the last 2,000 of years. And those two powers is the power of the gospel and the power of the Holy Spirit. Powers that are available for us that we can rely on with confidence. When we take a look at the power of the gospel, Paul would say in Romans chapter 1, verse 16, I am not ashamed of the gospel because it is the power of God for salvation to everyone who believes. Did you catch that? Not you have the power, that the power is in the gospel. Quite frankly, it blows my mind that simply communicating what Jesus Christ has done, who he is, has the power, just in the communication, to alter a person's quality of life now and their eternal future. That the power is in the gospel that we rely upon to make that kind of introduction to Christ and the life that he offers and is available for those of us who will share it. Romans chapter 10, verse 17, we remind that faith, saving faith, comes from hearing. That is, hearing the good news about Christ. That when, in a clear, compelling, authentic manner, that we release the power of the gospel as we share it with others. And then number two, the power of the Holy Spirit. What I find interesting is that, especially in the Gospel of Luke and Luke's account in Acts, when it talks about the Great Commission, that it mentions something that sometimes in our training we rarely mention in the Great Commission, and that is the necessity of the Holy Spirit. As a matter of fact, in Luke chapter 24, after Jesus rose from the dead and he comes to his disciples and he's sharing with them and telling them that the scriptures have been fulfilled about his death and his resurrection. And he says to the disciples in verse 48, you are witnesses of all these things, and now I will send the Holy Spirit just as my Father promised. But stay here in the city until the Holy Spirit comes and fills you with power from heaven. And then in Acts chapter 1, verse 8, Luke repeats that again when Jesus says, you will receive power when the Holy Spirit comes on you, and you will be my witnesses, telling people about me everywhere, Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, and to the ends of the earth. Now, the Holy Spirit has already come, so we don't need to wait for the Holy Spirit, but we need to wait on him, because the success of evangelism is not our power. It's in him, and it is in the gospel that gives us the confidence and the competence to be faithful, to complete the command, to share and preach the gospel. Hopefully that can allay a lot of our fears, our anxieties, when we rely on the powers that have been given to us that enables us to be successful, faithful fishers of men. Next time when we come back, we're going to take a look at how we engage that source with the resources that have been given to us to be successful in completing the Great Commission. Jonathan Scott, we'll see you next time at Strengthen Your Walk.